This is where you're going to plan out the remainder of your time here at Carteret, so your certificate, your diploma, or your degree. There are 3 steps to registering for classes. The first step is deciding what classes you want to take and making an academic plan. That is what we're going to be focusing on in this video. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to request approval of your courses, and I strongly encourage you during this time to meet with your academic advisor. And then the final thing I'll show you in the next video is actually how to register for classes. So just keep in mind, everything that we're doing right now is just planning for classes. We're not yet registering. Some vocabulary that you need to know. All of you have a hold on your account, so you are not allowed to register until your academic advisor approves your classes. Keep in mind when you're looking at descriptions of classes in Carteret Compass, if you see prerequisite, that means there is a course you need to take prior to enrolling in that particular class. So make sure when you're doing your long-term plan, if a class has a prerequisite, put that prerequisite first. Co-requisite refers to classes that have to be taken at the same time, so you want to make sure you put co-requisite classes in the same semester. Credit hours, that's how many hours that class is giving you that count towards graduation. Contact hours is the physical amount of time that you are spending in that class. When you log into Carteret Compass to complete your project, if you see something in red pop up in the right-hand corner, that means you have a flag on your account. That flag has to be taken care of before Carteret Compass is going to allow you to register for classes. For example, you may have a flag that pops up that says you need to pay your library fine, or you may have a flag that pops up that says you have to go contact the business office. Make sure you take care of these flags before you try to register. Now, you may not have a flag pop up. That's great. That's wonderful. But if you do, let's get it taken care of. If you see a flag that says you need to see your advisor, you are probably on academic warning, probation, or suspension. That means you are not going to be able to register on your own. You're actually going to have to physically go see your advisor to register for classes. So now that we've gotten that taken care of, let's talk about making your academic plan in Carteret Compass. When you are getting started making your academic plan, I would highly suggest that you print out your degree plan for your program. That is, I would print it, have it out, that way you can reference it. It's really just a matter of copying your degree plan and putting it in Carteret Compass because it's already laid out for you semester by semester, so fall, spring, and summer. Carteret Compass, if you click on our current students link at the top of our homepage, you're going to see the link to Carteret Compass. You're going to log in with that same username and password that you use for Moodle and for your email. Again, flags are going to be displayed in the top right-hand corner if you have them. So once you log into Carteret Compass, there is going to be a button that says Student Planning. That is what you're going to need to click on. Once you click on it, you're going to have 2 options. You're going to see where it says View Your Progress, or the other option is Plan Your Degree and Register for Classes. My suggestion for you when starting this project is to go to your progress first before you go to plan and schedule. When you view your progress, at the very top, you're going to see your degree or your certificate or diploma listed. If you are in multiple programs of study, you're going to see this arrow right here at the top. Arrow over and you'll be able to see everything, every program you're enrolled in. You'll also be able to see at the top your cumulative and institution GPA. Now, as you keep scrolling, you're going to see different sections of your degree. So, for example, in this student, the first section is listed as English. Notice it says right here, fully planned. If Carteret Compass says fully planned or completed, that means you're either currently enrolled in these courses, you have completed these courses, or you have planned this whole entire section for your future. One thing I do want to mention beforehand though, as you scroll through your progress, you'll get down to the very bottom and there's a section called Other. If you have anything listed in the Other category, that is not counting towards the program that you're currently viewing. So for example, this student had a whole bunch of photography classes listed under Other. Well, the student was also dual enrolled in both Associates in Arts and Photography, so that makes sense. However, if you see classes down there under Other, and they actually should be counting towards that program that you're viewing, you need to reach out to your advisor as soon as possible because financial aid will not pick up any classes found under that Other section unless you're also enrolled in that other program of study that they count towards. Now, under your progress, again, the first thing you're going to want to do is find those classes that you need to take in the future. So look for those sections that do not say fully planned. Once you find a class that you're going to take in the future, directly from your progress, you can click on that link for the course. So for example, let's say this student decided they wanted to take Math 152 for the next semester. So you can click on the course name. There will always be a button in the top right hand corner that says Add Course to Plan. Now, if you hit View Available Section, you're going to see the next semester. So for example, if we're currently in the fall semester, you would see the spring options for the next semester. But let's say the student wanted to take Math 152 a year from now. You can always plan for future semesters by hitting Add Course to Plan in the top right hand corner. That's going to bring up this screen here, and there will be a button at the bottom of this screen that tells you choose what term you want to take that class. So you can do a drop down and then pick a future semester that you plan to take this class, and then you just hit the button that says Add Course to Plan. The goal would be, after you've done every single course needed to fulfill those sections of your degree, you want to scroll back through your progress and make sure that every single section says fully planned. Now, I do want to mention it's very hard when you're adding these classes to kind of see the big picture. So you're like, I'm just picking these random semesters in the future and I can't tell what this all looks like. There's a great feature in Carteret Compass called Timeline, and Timeline is where you can see the future semesters that you've planned these classes. So if you go back to your home page and you click back on Student Planning, now we're going to go to that other button over here where it says Go to Plan and Schedule. So if I click Go to Plan and Schedule, there's a bunch of different tabs up here at the top. Notice one of the tabs here is called Timeline. So I would click the Timeline tab and you can see that big picture of these classes that you've been adding for the future. So notice there's that Math 152 that this student has added for the future. Now you can drag and drop these classes, so you can rearrange everything that you just did and put these classes in the semesters that you plan to take them. Notice it also gives you this option to X out of these classes. So if you want to remove them from your timeline, maybe you've decided to do something completely different, you can just X out of it. You are not yet registered for classes. So all this dragging and dropping and adding classes to your timeline and adding them to your plan, you are not yet registered. So keep in mind, a lot of students will think by putting things on their timeline and adding classes to their timeline that holds your seat in that class. Absolutely, it does not. The nice thing about that though is you have the ability to play around and drag and drop and fix things and make it exactly the way that you'd like. Again, I just want to stress to you, you're not yet registered. We will cover in part 2 in the next video on how to contact your advisor and then how to actually go in and choose sections of your classes and register.